So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This is Matt Chabili alongside my critical companion in crime, Ricardo Medina.
Hello, hello, hello.
And this is another episode of Beers, Beats, and Beely. And this is pretty much a short one in comparison to the ones that we've done before. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty short episode of Beers, Beats, and Beely, mainly because we're doing this before the weekend of our carnival celebrations. So there's not really that much to talk about. Honestly, I haven't. There wasn't really anything to see in theaters last week at the time it's recording, apart from What Men Want. But this actually is going to lead into something that I just want to get off my chest there. So this is kind of like a mini rant slash discussion, if you will, about a guy called Jussie Smollett, or Smollett as I used to call him, right? But after that, we're gonna review season 3 of True Detective, which wrapped up the Sunday before the time of this recording here. And speaking of Sunday, the 91st Academy Awards ceremony aired. So we're gonna do a review, if you will, of that ceremony, and of course the nominees who won, and our thoughts on the winners, and who lost and whatnot.
Right.
Right. So start things off with Mr. Jussie Smollett, way. Smalley, right? Whatever. Smalley, Smollett, whatever, right? So I think I probably mentioned this before in a prior episode or whatever. I actually do watch Empire. I won't call
Okay.
myself the biggest fan of Empire, but I do watch it. I do enjoy it. Yes, I know it is uh a black urban soap opera. I get that, but what I like about it really is just that it highlights, it just kind of shines the spotlight on the music world. You know what I mean? This is something I've always been fascinated about, more particularly urban music. Hip hop and R&B. So I like seeing people in the studio trying to crank out the next hit, and all this drama to put an album out, and the shenanigans that goes on behind the scenes of your favorite artists. I like that kind of stuff, right? I always looking at articles about that. So Empire kind of hit a nerve with that, right?
Right.
And Jussie Smollett, right, who plays Jamal in the show. And yes, in the show and in real life, he is gay, right?
Right.
I always thought that he was one of my favorite characters in the show too, because of how sympathetic he was. He had a lot of talent, he had a lot of charisma, and just his character really stood to me. He was like that one guy who did not want to do the shadiness that Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson to the extent were involved in, right? His parents.
Right.
So, it was always something about him where it's like, what, he's like the angel in the whole group, while everybody trying, kind of corrupt in a way, even his younger brother, Hakeem,
Right.
right? So it's like that now. So, he's just such a likable character. And then when you see him, it's just like, the man cool now, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
when this thing happened, a few weeks ago, about him getting attacked, at 2 a.m. in the morning when he went to buy a subway on, in 0 degree temperature in Chicago, right? Now, in my head,
Right.
when the article came out, I think it was on a Tuesday, I thought that it happened in the daytime, now, like in the morning or afternoon time, and then the article just happened, like, the news report just hit now. It's only like about, days later, I realized that it happened like way early in the morning now. So I didn't even pick
Right.
up on that until like people just started digging into this thing. And that's the thing now. So people were shocked about it. I mean, I was shocked. I was, disappointed about what happened. I was like, but this kind of thing going on in pro-Trump America, guys wearing MAGA hats, seeing this gay actor attacking him, well, gay black actor actually attacking him, had rope and bleach, had MAGA hats on, all that kind of stuff. So like, wait, this thing really going on in America? Wait, what? So more people started digging deep now. But the big red herring, of course, was him refusing to hand over his phone to the police now. So it's like, well, maybe he has some stuff in it, some private stuff that you don't want, the police to see. But it's like, still, it's an investigation that you want people to know what's going on. But then more stuff keep coming up. It's like, he contacted his manager before he contacted police. And these two Nigerian guys, one of which was an extra on the show, was part of it. So it's all this digging all these people were doing, whether it was like newspapers or tabloids and whatnot, just start digging in deep now. And then, of course, well, the truth finally revealed that, yeah, it was a hoax. It was this hate crime kind of designed to I don't know if it was just a way to take shots at Trump and whatnot, how things are today. But yeah, it's a hoax, and I myself didn't want to believe it. Like what, like come on, you really think a guy like him, somebody as talented and well paid as him, would go through all this drama? And it was, he orchestrated the whole thing, and yeah, he was arrested actually. I don't know how much time he's gonna face, because of what he did, but what I really wanted to talk about, but I just want to hear your thoughts about it first before I get into it. It's just the idea behind it, the mindset about it, just so baffling and so ridiculously stupid at the same time. It just, I don't know, it was just like, I just had to get off my chest now. Ricardo, anything you want to weigh in on this? Like, were you up on what was going on here, or you were looking up at
As,
articles about it? You just like, I don't care, I don't know this guy, whatever.
right. I was marginally following it.
Uh-huh.
It's because I think somebody bring it up in Colbert. I think Ellen Page or one of them bring it up and it's like, oh, it's an attack. Okay. And I started to follow it. And then as all the holes had to get poked into the story, and I was like, okay, well, the question is usually when you have stuff like this, either you either be unparsimonious or you be very, very, very parsimonious about it. No? And so it's either the story is as dumb as I think it is, or it has something truly deeper going on, and it's a story covering a story,
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know yet ultimately, because but for one, it is not what it is. Hell, it had an episode of The Orville that was almost identical to this one, by the way.
Oh, serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, I still just find it so strange that he would just blow his whole career over it. But I mean, Terrence Howard do the same bullshit. Well, not as dumb, but do the same bullshit over. He role in Marvelous or whatever. It might
What did he do again? Just
make us at
uh
a fuss. Make us at a fuss and try to do us at a strong arm negotiations. So you wanted to get paid more to play War Machine,
oh,
and it dropped.
right for the first Iron Man. Okay. Now I remember. Okay.
Yeah. I just find the whole thing is just so dumb. Made for that for what you doing now, because ultimately is a larger role, and especially from people who are well, I would think, I would imagine that the gay and the black well, the gay community in particular, given the nature of the hoax crime, would be really disappointed. I mean, in that sense now, because you're undermining people who are real victims
Yeah.
um in that whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
I
You're correct. Yeah.
just kind of stopped paying attention to the story because it's just such an insane back and forth. You're wondering like why does the story just suck up so much attention, and you know you're wondering if it's again what deeper going on, what, because usually with stuff like this is either distracting from something, and then some people say it had something deeper to do with his lifestyle and something to do with Lee Daniels, and we ain't sure what's going on. Um, but as I say, yeah, this guy just seems to be a dumbass. Sorry. Because
And as much as I don't want to call him that, yeah, boy, he is. I don't want to say he
yeah,
kind of is. He is, but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
as soon as this article pop up, I believe it was last week Friday, when that announcement was made. It wasn't TMZ. It was either Complex or Variety. Right, Variety actually put this up on Facebook. The man was dissatisfied about how much he was getting paid on Empire.
right,
5 seasons in, right? This is the fifth season we
yeah,
currently in, right? And you talking about this, right? So, as I mentioned, Taraji P. Henson in the very beginning here. Last year, she starred in two movies, right? Two movies that people didn't really care about, but people kind of wrote off and be like, all right, that's bullshit, whatever. And that would be Proud Mary and Acrimony, right?
right,
And she was still working on Empire. Anyway, this year she's in What Men Want. Well, of course, she probably shot a majority of that in late 2018, and whatnot, right? But still, she's doing movies and she's doing shows. She's doing the show on the side. Now, for a guy like Jussie, right? I saw him theatrically on Alien Covenant, right? He was one of the dumbasses who
right.
got
Yeah,
killed,
just
right? Right. That's
just
which had me laughing, by the way. Right? Yes. So
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
remember that.
a movie directed by Ridley Scott, right? So that means that you have some kind of clout now. I mean, you could star in films. So it may not be, leading role, but still, you know what I mean. And then also the dude could sing. The dude could really, really sing. You telling me with your talent, right? Even if you don't get the starring roles and whatnot in movies, you telling me you couldn't just put out a little EP, a little music or something? So, yes, I know Empire's about music and all that, but don't tell me that the only music you can record in your career thus far is for a fictional record label. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like put out your own shit. Like do some music. You know what I mean? Even people like Gene Smith was doing that when he was acting, and we was laughing at him for him not being a great actor. He was putting on music. He was testing the waters, and then as soon as he come out Sire, it's like, well, would hey, I
Right.
could make that transition into rap music though, because
Right.
I was practicing for a while. You know what I mean? I was doing it on the
Right.
low end, but so that's my point. Basically, is that just find some other revenue stream there. If you find that Empire not paying you enough, be what the people behind Empire not paying you enough. Like you, dude, you have the talent, Dred. You have the
Yeah.
talent. You complain about you not getting enough money per episode. The amount he gets paid for per episode, Dred,
Yeah.
I would
That's the
you know what I mean?
business.
That's like my if you were to add up my paychecks for the whole year, it wouldn't even come to that amount, Dred. So I don't know, but it just had me baffled, but you know what I mean? Like
That's
I
why I
told a
say,
friend of mine just the other day, is like, it's only an American who could do something that stupid. It's only an American who could be this ignorant, like, oh, nobody pay, look at me and my talent, nobody paying me high enough. It's like, bro,
no,
Terrence Howard and Taraji,
right.
them bigger than you, Dre. Them in the game more than you. So
Yeah,
take it as
exactly.
it
That
is.
it have nothing. It never really had anything to do with the money. In fact, when it comes to getting paid in show business, it's really really happen when you're in the later down in your career, no? Right? Unless you're like a super mega star. But even Brad Pitt, right? Brad Pitt was somebody who was a young nobody, and then he picked up now.
Yeah.
In his 30s and 40s. No, as I say, stuff like this I just ignore because it's like it's such a dumb story, and it's for a dumb and petty reason. So everybody thinking that he's a patsy for something deeper, maybe,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
they have no evidence for it. So whatever. It's so dotish because
Yeah.
not only plan petty and this, but I can understand it, okay, you're doing it for quote unquote petty reasons, but come up with at least a good plan now.
I
Nothing about
know,
the plan
right?
makes sense.
Security cameras. Take
No, but,
take
but
out
my
away
point
the yeah, man.
my point is like again, I don't endorse this behavior, but at least if you're doing sneaky shit, at least do smart sneaky shit. Like you're in the middle of the Me Too movement, motherfucker. Find some high executive and blame it on fake up or someone that now. You're in the middle of the Me Too movement. Do something with that. You could do
Yeah,
something with that thing. Not some dumb MAGA hat conspiracy nonsense. Nothing
you
about that
know.
makes sense. Enough people who already, I sure you meet some abuser, some psychopath, some sociopath in Hollywood. And yeah, you could have make a plan to target that person and say, hey, I get thing, I want to get more money because of that. I don't get where the MAGA hat plan make any kind of sense. At what point that was a logical choice? Whatever.
Um, well, okay. So what I've heard though is that Empire supposed to start back around. I'm not too sure when it's gonna start back. The second half of the fifth season, right? But they put out this press statement saying that he will not be in the last two episodes. And for all I know, I'm not even sure if he's gonna come back for season six. What make this so hard now for these people who behind the show is that they're already gonna write off one of the three brothers in the show. This will be the oldest brother, Andre, right? I forgot the actor's name. So like, but they already set it up that he is going to get killed, right? They already set
Right,
up
right.
from episode one. They was hinting at somebody died, and then mid season
Right.
finale is like, oh shit, it's Andre, okay, right? So my thing is, okay, well Jamal gonna be gone now, so I don't know how they're gonna write that in. He did have a boyfriend who was in England, and he moved to be with him. So I don't know if they're gonna have him go back to England like he did in the last season.
As I
Yeah,
say, I still think it has something deeper going and going to the top. I think it's connected to Lee Daniels. I suspect that. Um,
could
and
be,
it's a,
could
it's,
be.
he's a kind of party now, right? He's a party for something going down, and I don't think it's anything to do with something truly like insidious. But I think it's like, oh well, he had to take the fall now. That way I feel, but whatever. I have no evidence of that. It's just speculation. But this stuff, it does seem too dumb and too petty for the situation. Whatever.
Yeah,
Moving on. I don't
yeah.
care.
Last thing I'll say though is but ultimately, what Jussie did, will affect not just the people behind the scenes of Empire, not just the people working on the show, but the viewership in total. Because from what I've heard, what I've read actually, viewership has been dipping over over the past few seasons now, which I actually understand. I'm the type of person who does just go brave and defend shows. That's why I would still watch Walking Dead, even though people kind of turn their back on it, right? But
Yeah.
it's like at the end of the day, it's like for what exactly? Because you just wanna be the focus of attention. You just want more money. You know what I mean? Like all it just comes off real petty, just so ridiculously petty. For broke guys like us, from who can't even fathom the how opulent Hollywood people living and all that kind of stuff. It's just I don't know. We just had a laugh at it. Just so
Yeah. No,
dumb. You know what I mean?
no. People notoriously bad at managing money at that level. Everything expensive. Remember,
Yeah.
everything is everything you're doing is high value. So the second you're making a change that most people will find comfortable, you can't keep up with that life. It's not about the money in some objective sense. It's about the image and how you feel in terms of comfort and who you're above, and and that kind of stuff. That is the reason why economics is a scale up in insane ways, right? Because
Mhm.
nobody could ever keep up with it. I mean, we just watched that movie, High Flying Bird, right? You
Yes.
know, to me that just tell was so telling in terms of like all the little structural issues there. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Justin Smollett is a dumbass, and he kind of make life worse for a lot of people in the United States in terms of blaming people for in victim blaming.
Yes.
It
Yes.
makes it a
Yes.
lot easier to do that shit. So whatever.
Yeah. When you have somebody like Cardi B saying you fucked up Black History Month, Jed, that just says so much. And she is right. She is right. Because yeah, the man set black people back. He set gay people back. He set Trump supporters back. You know what I mean? Like, oh gosh, we all trying to get along as is. You pull off this stunt. You know what I mean? Just because you're getting enough money. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
do
It is
this.
what it is. When Empire does start back, I'm really curious to see how they're gonna write off his character. It might be pretty funny as well, though. But I think Lee Daniels and them should start to wrap up the show because, hey, if Jamal not there and people just gonna watch it just so they can take shots and make fun of the show because of Jussie Smollett's bullshit, then I don't know. I guess it's a sign to just pack it up and pack it in, yes. Anyway, so sticking with TV somewhat, we're now gonna talk about season 3 of HBO's True Detective. And as I mentioned, Jussie and Alien Covenant, an actress who also was an Alien Covenant actually makes an appearance here. Carmen Ejogo.
Right, right.
Well, not really familiar with her. She was also in It Comes at Night as well. But yeah, she's in it as well. But of course, the main star of this movie is, of course, Oscar winner. Congrats to him,
Yeah. Well,
Mahershala
yeah,
Ali.
second
Yes.
time I'll support that. Yeah.
Yeah, second time for Best Supporting Actor. And Stephen Dorff, who I haven't seen in quite a long while, actually. I know I'm not talking about, his
Blade one.
iconic performance as, as Deacon Frost, that guy you just love to hate, right, in Blade. But yeah, he's back as well. But I will talk about his performance as well. But yeah, this is the third season of well, more or less an anthology series, which is similar to like how American Horror Story on FX is, where each season tells a brand new story, right? Well, in this case, it's a detective story. It always involves some sort of murder or some disappearance. But what makes this stand out is the sort of like eeriness to it. There's always something really dark and looming going on. So it's kind of similar to like how David Lynch did, Twin Peaks way back in the early 90s.
Right.
But also what makes it stand out because, because this is modern television, of course. It can't just be telling a story straightforward. There's always like these existential themes, there's always something about life and death and, what we see or how memory works and all that kind of stuff. But in this case here, it more or less follows about time and, how we perceive it. So what makes this season here stand out is that we basically are seeing three linear narratives play out, right? All through the perspective of Marishala's character, whose name is Wayne Hayes, right? So we're seeing him as an old man in 2015. We're seeing him as, a cop in 1980, where he first meets
Yeah.
Stephen Dorff, who plays Roland West. and then we see him in the 90s, well, 1990 actually,
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years for the fact where they closed this particular case that they were
Right.
involved in, and it's just the obsession that his character goes through in trying to solve this case. Ricardo, just want to fill us in on what the premise of True Detective season 3 is about.
Yeah, well, you're kind of explaining it in terms of the time period, but basically, yeah, these two kids went missing. I forget the boy name, but Julie,
Yeah,
is the girl.
Julie and Will. I believe it's Will
Will,
was
right?
his, yeah.
Yeah, and they basically went missing for a while. The father, played by Scoot
Yes,
McNairy.
yes, Scoot McNairy, quite
Yeah,
excellently in my opinion.
right. Yeah, well, he's one of my favorite actors. Going wrong. Because he was one of the main characters in *Halt and Catch Fire*.
Yeah,
And he was in *Batman v Superman*. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. And they could have
yeah,
done so much more with his character there, but
yeah.
whatever,
Uh,
whatever.
but it have another DCU person in this as well.
Ah,
So
yes, Mr. Reeve Fisher, who played
it's gonna
Cyborg, and will play him in the spin-off movie, which
right.
everyone really excited for.
Well, I'm sure I'm not going through still, but whatever.
Right?
Point is, I thought he was quite good in this as well.
He
Anyway,
was,
but
he was, yeah.
yeah, these two kids went missing. Not sure what's going on, and then you found out. Then so they get Marshall Ali and Stephen Doe to come through. To start the case. They start the case. They're looking, and eventually, he finds the boy's body.
Yes.
And it's like, all right, well, where's the girl? Never find the girl body. Find kind of weird, and then they get into sort of chicanery involving the case itself and show going on, and the entire thing is premised through a documentary being made in 2015.
Yes.
And he is receiving somewhat new information, but they do a nice little subversion of that later on. He's receiving new information involving the case itself and the context of the case and the recontextualizing of the case from the perspective of this filmmaker or the documentary filmmaker from in the year 2015 and all the research she did and her perspective on the whole thing. And then, at the same time, his girlfriend in one time, wife in the second time, and we'll talk about her later.
This would be Amelia Reardon,
Right.
played by Carmen Ejogo.
Yeah, she's also following the case, but she's writing about it from that perspective, and it have a whole, flowing waypoint about memories and time, and yeah, that is pretty much the story. But last thing I'd mention about it is that because everything is premised through memory and time, what you learn is a lot of it have to do with flawed memory and unreliable narration. And that's where the catches, the real catch of the story, the real crux of the storytelling device. Everything is from the perspective of his character. And you learn nothing other than his character. And then you realize, how reliable or unreliable his memory and that perspective is, and all the stresses and, the frustrations that goes with that, going with the memory of the case. And that is what the catch was of the storyline. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to share your opinion first, or you want me to jump in?
Oh, no problem. I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed the beginning of it. It is a slow burn.
It is. Yeah.
But because the characterization is so strong and it's all about the characters more than the quote unquote plot, especially when you find out what was going on in the ending, it was pretty good in that sense. I still have a somewhat of a soft spot for season 2, but this is still very, very good. And yeah, I would say it is better than season 2.
Well, we actually spoke about this before we met up online. Kind of arguing. Well, sorry, not arguing, but really, like in my opinion, I thought that this was a huge step up from season 2. Mainly because there was a lot more things in it that I remember from this one. I mean, yes or no, I actually finished it up just merely a few minutes before we met up online. But still, there was just so much in this season here that I really appreciated, and really stood out to me more than the second one, which I felt was trying to replicate the formula of the first one. But and while it did it well, it just for me like the ending just didn't hit me as much as I wanted to. Like it just kind of happens. It's like, all right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing about it though, like I would say right off the bat that no, it is not as great as the first season. I mean, the first season still ranks as one of the best
Right.
seasons of
Still
the
the best.
show, in my opinion. But this one comes close, mainly because of the style of it. The style is what really caught me by surprise, right? So,
Right.
as I said before, it is a slow burn, and I would admit, first episode I was like, it's not dragging, but I really was feeling the slowness in it, right? But
Yeah.
then because as the character started to build and whatnot, I really started to appreciate it even more. So for me, I kind of see this more as kind of like more like an old fashioned detective story. So it's not
Yes.
heavily reliant on you know the shock of what is really going on or the shock of the
Exactly.
reveal and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
this classic
yeah,
case of what we call this is a classic case of where called journey is more important than the destination.
yes,
Um,
yes,
what this was for me. When you think about it, it was one of those situations where does it matter what the end was or what the real mystery behind everything was or what all the stress went on for. The point is that you learn what it was, and the point is that you solved the problem. And yeah, that was the big victory. You figured everything out. And well, given the circumstances, it's not some big super shocking thing, but it's still pretty awesome. Like what they did with it.
it is. Yeah,
And I yeah. And then it intertwined with his mental condition and intention. I thought they balanced that quite well. Because as a high wire act, that's very difficult to suss out.
yes,
It's
yes,
the same
indeed.
thing, it's the same thing with quote unquote bad writing and then writing stupid characters. There's
Yeah,
a high wire act you could do because on the one end, when you have a character make a stupid decision, is it that the character is stupid or is it that the writer of the character is stupid? Kind of hard to suss out. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but when you do a good job with the writing, you make it very clear that the character makes a bad decision and it's consistent with either human psychology or it's consistent with that character's specific flaw. And in this, they did a good job with that, where the balancing is him being either deliberately dishonest slash performative about information, because you learn later in episode 6 and 7, well, episode 6, I think,
Hmm.
about him pretending to be dumb and then pretending to be forgetful and then being actually forgetful in other situations. And
Yes,
they do
yes.
a good job with that. And that is where the real strength of this lies, with that him having to deal with this degenerate. Well, I forget what it was, but it's about Alzheimer's. I forget exactly what happened to him.
They
Um,
never they did meant I think they kind of hinted what it is, but
right,
like it wasn't like fully distinguished what the name of the condition was, but it's something
right,
similar to Alzheimer's in a way, I think.
right,
Yeah.
effectively, right. He losing his own memories and he having to hold on to really like strong points in his life emotionally to wrestle that. That's another thing that worked quite well in this is black man struggling with emotions, right?
Yeah,
It's
boy.
not simplistic. It's done quite well in my opinion. It's done very plausibly, especially he and the bouncing off with the wife and him having
Yeah.
to come to terms with a lot of like typical kind of ego shit,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
black.
and you can really see how insecure he is, boy. But it's almost
Right,
like he has to be right about everything, even though he know he on
right,
shit. And she kind of
right,
calls him out on it, but it's just like, well, no, you know what I mean? And I don't trust you. And
right,
why you trying to solve this? Why you trying to investigate this case and get in my way? You know what I mean?
right.
But how Mahershala plays those scenes. By the way, I
Yeah,
really believe they didn't come
and
off
yeah,
too much like a
he
baby, you know?
he and the wife does that really really well. Again, is the typical machismo ego stuff, but they handle it quite well in the context of the story. You
Yeah,
could see him, especially with her wanted to talk about the case and the nature of the case, because the thing with the case is that the case, you already think the case going in some super dark turn, right? And it is
yes,
pretty dark where they went with it, but it's not as dark as season 1 or even season 2 of True Detective, in my opinion.
right.
Nowhere near as dark as that, but it's still, because this is where your imagination going with it. You once you hear a little children disappear, your mind is go to the darkest possible spot with that, right?
Yes.
You think devil cult or some
Or
nonsense
some
like that.
pedophile ring or
Right,
something.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Something like that, right? And why they make it work? Oh, that's another. Well, they talk about that with season 1, because they make a little nice little call back to season 1 for 2 seconds.
Yeah, which was slightly spoiled some article that came out for we're not gonna
Oh,
see what
okay.
episode it was, but I knew it was gonna happen, but then when they do it, it's like, Ah, okay, that's clever. That's clever.
Right.
Like True
Okay, so I
Detective
didn't.
Universe. Okay, cool.
Right,
Yeah,
right. I didn't read the article, so I don't know. I just saw it in the episode. Oh, okay, nice. What I would because
yeah,
I speculated about it, and then I was like, oh, it was verified, and then it went back to oh well, it's not that important or not that connected when they reveal everything that was going on. Yeah, but back to my point about just handling emotions. It's a solid character piece in my opinion. It does the thing that season two kind of failed at doing where season two tried to focus on the character piece stuff, and season two has a lot of good moments about like a lot of it has to do with gender and security with that. You know?
yes,
This season's is gender is part of it, kind of, but it is a lot more nuanced than season two in that respect, in my opinion, and it because he holds the story quite well. And Stephen Dorff was quite good in his narrative as well, in terms of like what they did, the guilt he had to go through, the bullshit he had to do, especially involving a really brutal scene involving him and his relationship. Well, they explain his relationship to dogs, which I liked.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they had just a simple character piece of. I don't want to get into. I didn't really get the sense that they were trying to do that, but I get the feeling that there's some intention there of the quote unquote toxic masculinity premise.
yeah,
In terms of men showing emotion, how men relate to each other, how men have to handle, especially in a job like this where it's all about dealing with force and violence, and it's real near duels. There's some real scummy they had to handle it in this one. So they make it work. As a character piece, it really is strong, very, very strong. I personally was a little underwhelmed with the ending, but I get it. It
yeah.
works. It still does work quite well, in my opinion. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I will talk about the ending before I get to my rating, but I don't want to spoil anything. Just little hints,
Right.
right? So I agree with you totally with what it is you said. But for me, what really how I look at this is that, like I say, it's kind of old fashioned. But to me, this is like the kind of show that if Clint Eastwood was willing to jump into TV, this would be the kind of show he would make, right? Something slow burning, but it has a lot to say about life and about human about being human, what I mean?
Yeah.
Not too much in a philosophical or existential way, but just more about aging, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think really that's a great decision on their part to take that approach because, yeah, you see our two main leads as old men and the makeup for this, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so
I
spot on.
very,
Like Mahershala
very.
Ali looked like this is how
Yeah.
he
It
would
looked like
look like in his 60s or 70s or whatever.
yeah.
I like how they had a little white hair, right in front of his hair, so it gives him
Yeah.
a kind of a Morgan Freeman-ish kind of look. Like you could tell they
Yeah.
kind of look at like early, like I don't want to say 90s Morgan Freeman, but like 2000s Morgan Freeman. It was just kind of shaping the makeup to look similar to it, but it really
Yeah.
spot on looks like Mahershala just aged, right before our eyes, and of course, strong editing in terms of how they cut back from,
Yeah.
between each of these three narratives. I thought it was well done. And what I like also too is that, with the 1918 and 1991, you might get a little confused there, if you're not watching
Uh,
Marsha's hairdo.
Actually,
If you're not watching the hairdo, but there were a few times where I was a little confused, and I think they do that on purpose. But what I love about the show here is that they will mention something either related to a scene that happened before, or some sort of decision that was made, or some kind of line of dialogue like, yeah, we were doing this back in the 80s, or remember this back in 80, or what I mean? They will
right.
always relate to something that you see before. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that
Actually,
all three narratives were linear. If it was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, then yeah, it would have confused everybody. But because it's linear, it's like, oh, right. This how to do it. What happened in the
right.
previous scene back in 1980? Oh, okay.
Right. No, I thought he was looking he was looking kind of younger in 90 than in 80, but whatever.
Oh, because the haircut.
Because of the height of it there.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if it's the makeup or the lighting, how they do it, because they just looking like they just have him looking younger, but it's probably because of the clothes he was wearing. He was wearing this kind of weird, bulky trench coat, and it wasn't as much in 19. You saw him in
Correct.
more casual clothing, so it's about as opposed as that.
Yeah, but yeah, because I would say like for the 80 and 90 stuff, yeah, as far as makeup goes, yeah, you do tend to get a little confused. But I don't. That
No,
to
it
me,
was
that's
fine.
not like a big nitpick in my opinion. I let that slide because I mean, oh gosh, but you gotta do like three sets of makeup now. You know what I mean? Well, not saying that they didn't do makeup for the '90s part, but so is the like the lead characters or the main characters aged that much over the course of 10 years. So I let that slide. But so for some nitpickers, they might be like, well, why he looking the same here and back in ET he looking the
Right,
same?
right, right.
It's like, you know what? Just forget about it, right? Keep it simple, stupid, right? The acting, of course, across the board is excellent. Mahershala Ali kills it as Wayne Hayes.
Yeah,
I love the depth that they give his character as well. You really do sympathize with him, especially when he's really old and he's
yeah,
trying to remember stuff. There is one scene. Well, there's these periodic scenes with him in his room, reading his wife's book, right? Well,
yeah,
the sequel to the book that she wrote back in like the 80s appeared, right? Well, sorry, in the 80s. And he would always kind of remember, or he would see visions of, people talking to him. There's one shot with him, they they hint this early on that he did serve in the Vietnam War now. So it's a shot where like these commies now, right behind him stand up with the kind of straw hats like standing up behind him, and there's this one guy in the back of the shot, in a suit and tie now. And to me, that was like one of these standouts shots in this season, where like it was so haunting. And I like the fact that it doesn't really say much, but it shows just how tormented he is by the past. It's just a
right.
simple shot of just these figures behind him, and that really got into my skin. But I was like, this
Yeah.
real trend, dude. This real trend.
I thought the story that made Vietnam a lot more relevant to the storyline. It's
Yeah,
not only in the sense of how it shaped him and the requisite traumas that come from that. Like he happened to handle himself well, but they do mention it in somewhere in the middle of I think episode 14 when they meet another Vietnam vet. Um, and I thought
right.
that was key in terms of I thought that I really thought it was going to feed into the main story better, but it didn't. So it's like well, small thing.
Yeah. Um, Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
Um, I was blown away by his performance, by
Yeah, he's pretty good in this. I thought so. Yeah,
his from the accent to how his character was written to
yeah,
dialogue. That man just killed it, boy.
yeah.
I don't know if
Although,
this show could get like Emmys. See that it came out
yeah,
in January actually, but this is award worthy in my opinion, boy. I was so shocked at how great his performance was, by like just top tier in my opinion. So like
yeah,
him, like he could, but Mahershala is still the best out of everyone. But Steven come at a close second in my opinion, but
yeah.
I was that impressed by his performance, by
In
and just like
1980,
just the way how he got the sudden drawl down, just perfect in my opinion.
yeah. No, in 1980, he was looking just like Dennis Quaid for some reason for me.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I would. Yeah,
yeah,
he was. He was. Scoot
yeah,
McNairy. Not
yeah.
too familiar with his work. I did not watch *Halt and Catch Fire* as yet, but I
Right.
really should. 'Cause I know how much you praise this show. But yeah,
Yeah,
his performance here is reason enough for me to actually go and check that show. He was excellent in this. Loved his
yeah,
performance here. He was the tormented dad, trying to figure out what happened to his daughter, and then at
yeah, yeah,
times wondering if he has something to do with it as well. And this
yeah,
like how they just keep playing back and forth with that character.
yeah,
Carmen Ijogo, as Amelia, I thought that she was great as well. I like that they didn't play her as the loud-mouthed, argumentative girlfriend slash wife of the cop. Like, you should be home with your family, and why are you so obsessed with your job? There were barely any moments where she was like screaming at him, in that typical
yeah,
cliche fashion, right? Um, but I like how strong she was, how reserved she was. Even the way how she would talk back to Mahershala, when he's being all insecure and whatnot, right? I really love that as well. It really shows that there is a lot of like not so much that she's always calm and reserved, but she could take shit, but there's a point where it's like, you know what, you really pushed it.
yeah,
Just get shit together or else I'm leaving you, right? And not gonna
yeah.
see what happens beyond that. I thought that the supporting cast was great as well. I was actually surprised to see Michael Rooker. um, in the show as
Right.
well. Yeah.
And,
Because first I
okay,
was
so
really facing like all right.
that
In my head, I think it is Woody Harrelson there because the voice, the accent there. It's only when I
uh,
look close, like, right, that's him, just Michael Rooker. I
that's,
don't know how it happened, but because they had him
script,
looking old too now, so I got a little
yeah,
thrown off there.
yeah, they straight up had him playing Merle before the fall, right? I mean,
Yeah, boy.
it's basically Merle.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. So that's the only thing that kind of had me a little bothered because I thought he was like in the way how they play that scene is like, oh well, he real in this deep conspiracy about what's going on,
Yes. Yeah.
so on and so forth. And it's like, well, he wasn't that relevant. So I didn't get
Exactly.
that per se in terms of like why all of that had to play itself out.
Now I'll get into just how it all comes together, right? And oh yes, and before I forget, the direction for this is strong. You know, I love the direction. The writing as well, mostly handled by creator Nick Pizzolato. You know, once again he comes
Yeah,
through some excellent writing. You know, some strong character development and whatnot. But how it comes together, right? And this is why I'll see the kind of old fashioned is and it's something that Amelia hints at, with some um, excerpts from books that she reads to her class. This idea of time and being able to look back at time and memories and all that kind of
yes,
stuff. So, in a simple way, it's kind of say like how the decisions that we make, because yes, characters make really hard decisions. Sometimes it's for their own benefit, so it's for other people as well. And knowing that all the time it turns out bad, turns out well, right? Sometimes it has these drastic consequences, right? But what I like in this show here is that, yes, bad things happen and there's disappointment and there's sadness in life, but that's not the end of your life, you know what I mean? Unless you're dead or whatever, right? It's not like, but there's always like some kind of moment of redemption or some moment of closure, especially the final episode, right? Um, and it's not saying that your life will be carefree and smooth after that, But it's just that no, it's not the end just because you make a bad decision and whatnot. That's not to say that the decisions that they made were warranted. It's just that you would think that because of what went on with Mahershala Ali's character, that would be it, that he will be tormented for the rest of his life, but not really. You know what I
right.
mean? So I just like how they kind of showed that in the final episode where all right, cool. You expected something dark to happen, but it's like, well, years have passed. He's been obsessed over this crime, and now he finally finds the answer to it. But that's not the end of his life. He has to move on, and he's old now, so he has to kind of get used to it and just live the life that just keep on living the life that he has left. You know what I mean? Instead of just burdening himself with the stuff in his past, right? So I just love how thematically they set that up. For some people it might be like all right, well, that's it, okay. Really expected something more. And I guess in terms of True Detective, well, the band of True Detective, you probably would have expected something a little bit more dark, something that would stick with you.
Correct.
So while I wouldn't say the ending had as much punch as I expected
Right.
to, just the simplicity of the message, just what they were trying to say, really stuck out with me though. And the last shot of him, we're not gonna say what happens here. It kind of gives the
Right.
idea that this is all like, okay, well, this is what your life is gonna be, you know what I mean?
Right.
But who would think that where he is at that point, in the last shot, where he is then
Well,
would lead to where he is now, you know what I mean? So it's kind of
right. No,
interesting
I
how life plays out like that.
you're right. I kind of got that as a sense of him. Well, I don't know if it's a spoiler for me to say this, but I got the sense of that last shot was in such a way where it was him really fully losing his memory now. So he lose it gone now. All
Oh,
of the big
I didn't look at it like that, though.
right, and then because
Oh,
remember he was talking to himself in the past, eh?
yes, yes,
When,
yes.
so all of this stuff about this stuff in the past, again, you're not sure if it really happened like that. He keeps saying, "I don't want to be here anymore." Remember, he talked to himself in reflections and this kind of thing. Now, so when
Yeah.
the last version, when that very well the last shot played itself out, I got the sense that he's trying because he solved the case, and the only reason that he kept his memory is because of the case. Like the case is the thing that drove him to keep his memory now. And then
Yeah.
when because the case is solved now, uh that's it. It's like it. Remember because the camera zoom into the camera where the
Yeah,
camera's
zoomed
going.
into his eyes. So it's
Right,
like the,
right.
the
And
last few
then
things
yeah,
he sees, basically.
right. And so I get a feeling that is what was going on in the last shot now. So that's how I interpreted that at least.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's a good interpretation though. Like now you
It's
have
not
me thinking about that last shot now. You know, to the
right.
untrained eye, I could be like, oh well, all this was just a flashback
Right.
now. It's like no,
Right.
not really. It's just
Not really, but
well, this is where like to me how I saw it is like this is where we see where his life is gonna lead up to, and now we see where things kind of start. You know,
right.
technically
But
for
it's
him,
both. It's
that kind of
both interpretations can work in that context. So yeah,
yeah.
I
Well, just a couple things I just want to
yeah,
say
go ahead.
before we get to it, right? As far as slight disappointments, well, just little nitpicks though. Um, yes, you do have the violent, middle act basically. There's always like one scene that just kind of throws things off. Um, but
Yeah, we
that
didn't get
scene, well, we didn't really get that. Like, there's blood in it and
yeah,
stuff like that. But I would say once again, like if you look at like Clint Eastwood's, like later movies, as he got older, it has this kind of sentimentality to this. It's basically for old folks, basically, right? Who don't want to see a bunch of blood and guts, right? So it doesn't have that edginess as the last two seasons. But I know for some people,
yeah,
they might find that a disappointment. Um,
right. And the long
Also, yeah, and right, yeah, no long takes here. There wasn't really anything ambitious directed wise. I think
right,
the
right.
ambition just really went into the storytelling more than anything else, which is fine because I don't think I've seen any show that did three linear narratives, you know, um, in throughout the course of 8 episodes, right? But
Right.
yeah, as far as directing goes, because it's HBO, HBO always have to have the name held up high, right? The logo now. But there wasn't really anything in this season here which was like OMG, this is like the next step in direction. This is
Right.
this is a scene that we're gonna be talking about for years to come. Like, like the really brutal shootout in season two or the long take in season one. You know what I mean? There
Yeah.
wasn't really anything like that in my opinion. But yeah, that those were kind of minor nitpicks as well. Also, I forgot to mention too. Last thing. I thought that the music that I think his name is T Bone Burnett did. I thought it was great though. Very eerie, very ambient, very immersive. Like, although there's I don't want to say overuse of music here, but it's almost like nearly every scene always have to have some kind of dark, ominous music played. But yeah, the music itself I thought was great though. It's just setting up the tone. And well, yeah, final things final, I should say. The opening sequence, because this is something true. This is something we always expect of the True Detective series, right?
Right.
Um, Liked it, dug it with terms of visuals, but first ones, the one for the first season is still the best,
Right.
and I actually kind of enjoyed the one in season two way more than this one here. So it's
Yeah, me too.
basically one, two, three in terms of my ranking of the opening sequences,
Right.
and it even right down to song as well. 'Cause I thought that the song they used in season one was so great and it really stood out
Yeah.
to me. Season two had this kind of noirish kind of song, this really kind of dark bluesy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yes, it does add to the whole neo-noir vibe of the show itself, right? But season three had, this kind of blues song. I forgot the singer who sung it. But there's a line in it where I was like trying to understand what she was saying. And it always sounds like she's mom like you know?
Yeah.
So every time I heard it, I just kind of laughed. Like, what did she say? But then when she repeats it, how do you reckon it read? It's like, oh, okay, that's what she's saying. But why she mumble it to the beginning, I don't understand. But
Right.
that's still
Uh,
minor nitpicks. But all that aside, though, yeah, this is a strong season, though. I know the more I think about it, the more I interpret its themes, the more it's really gonna, stand out to me. So yeah, I know we early into the year, but I see this showing up in my top 10 list of like
yeah.
just
It's quite.
creepy TV
It's
shows for me, man.
yeah, possible that it's showing top 10 because again, this is one of those you have to think about. Don't fight on what the plot is. It's one of those journey destination stuff, especially given the context of the journey,
Yes.
especially with memory and whatnot. And that is where the characters and the strength of the thing. That's why I think they were going for. And if once you look at it like that, it actually they nailed it. Actually, frankly, um, uh, yeah, I gonna give this like a 9 out of 10. I thought this was next to perfect for me.
Nice,
Um,
nice. Well done.
I'm not gonna fight again. You could fight on the plot thing itself, and when you actually think about it, the plot does work. It does work for what it is. Again, given the context or whatnot, and when the ending happened and how it played itself out, it's all about finishing the task.
Yeah,
And that's the
exactly.
point of that. Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
All
Go
right.
ahead,
Well,
go
well,
ahead.
for me, this gets a strong 4 to 5, though. I really enjoy this. What I would say really impressed me with this season here compared to the other two, while some people might find it's not as strange as the last two, I like that,
Yeah.
with each season, it's not just telling its own story, but it's just trying to do something a little bit different. It's not trying to replicate what the second season did. So this one here, like I said, has this kind of old-fashioned, sentimental vibe about it. Still very dark as well, but more, from a, more in terms of old looking back at the past, that kind of thing. That present looking at past, that kind of stuff, basically, right? So those themes in particular about time and memory and age really stood out to me. And I just really praise this season for trying to be its own thing. So I don't know if we're gonna get a season 4 in the near future, but I really curious to see what new story they bring to the table, what intriguing characters they bring in, and just all the goodness that we expect from True Detective. But yeah, this was a strong season overall. It's 8 episodes. Yes, each one clocks at about an hour. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty long binge if you decide to do it. But
Right.
I would
Yeah.
say if you
I, that,
go in. What I would just say basically is that you gotta be patient with it. Yes, it's a slow
right.
burn. It's not gonna play out as the other seasons did with the darkness and the strangeness. But could just pull through with it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I do imagine you will find yourself being rewarded in the end because
Yeah.
I was generally rewarded, with how things played out in the
Right.
end, even though it didn't play out the way I expected.
Right. No, me too. I was still because the thing is, it was even if it was a quote unquote, it's a slow burn. I found myself engaged in what was going on in terms of trying to solve the problem and
Me
trying to
too.
solve and figure out what was going on, especially when episode 5 and 6 you rolled around now. So it
Yes,
had
yes,
me
yes.
engaged. It
Yeah,
had
I
me
was doing
engaged.
a lot of piecing together, trying to remember, oh, what this guy and what he said back then, and then
Exactly.
because of the three narratives playing out, it's like, oh well, this is what happened back then, and you just piece
Right.
together
Right.
everything in your head.
And it wasn't at no point it didn't feel too convoluted to me anyway. I was following it quite well. Again, I to
Yeah,
me just the good editing and storytelling and structural edit had it working and flowing quite well. Script and dialogue had it flowing quite well in terms of who's saying what and where. No one felt like, oh, this person's a complete idiot or this person is incompetent or anything like that. It was just like, no, it was just flowing well. Everything made sense to me. And yeah, I just thought it worked in that sense. As I say, the ending, I would have liked the ending to be a little more salacious and shocking, but whatever. What it gave us, I liked for what it was. Um, that's about it. I haven't anything else to say per se.
yeah. Right. So last things last. Now speaking of Mursha Ali and his Oscar win, now we have to get to the 91st Academy Awards, which aired last Sunday time this recording here. So before we get into actual nominees and who won, right? What I would say overall with the show not having any host, I actually like that. It actually worked better than I expected, mainly because
Right.
it didn't drag. There wasn't, the
Yeah.
usual 5 minutes of steel jokes and hey, this guy showed
Right.
up tonight. Hey, well, that reminds me of that movie you saw. There was none of that.
Right. Right.
It just people came in, they say what they had to say, they read it off the I was gonna say cue cards, but they said what they had to say, present the award, boom, right? As far
Yeah.
as nitpicks go, but I did get around to researching this before we met up here. Um, you had the four other nominees for Best Original Song perform, but y'all could not get Kendrick Lamar and SZA to at least open up the show. Y'all got
Yeah. With
Queen to
Queen.
open up the show. Almost like, oh, we're gonna make you think that Bohemian Rhapsody gonna win it. I remember tweeting it's like just because all they bring Queen Dread don't mean that Bohemian Rhapsody gonna win Best Picture, right? Just see it.
Right.
Just see it.
So
Yeah,
all right.
they do a couple
I
of hits, whatever, but it's like, come on, man, come on.
right. I no okay. So I was when they bust up when they bust up Kevin Hart over the old Tweety do. I was like, they could have still get. I still believe that they could have get a good host to replace him. And it had a bunch of people off the top of my head. I thought they could have fight up and get. They could have get Terry Crews, Keenan Thompson. As I say, Trevor Noah could have been there. They could have get Janet Mock to host. But to me, having no host was such a good call because it saved so much time.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. This is to my opinion, this is the shortest Oscar
They save so much.
ceremony we had in quite a
I,
while though. Like
how
yes,
much time
with
they save?
if you added commercials, it still passed
Exactly.
3 hours, right? But this was 3 hours and 15 minutes though. Like this one didn't end 1 o'clock in the morning, like
Right.
the last few years.
Yeah, I think they save a good 20 to 30 minutes on this one.
Yeah.
And the smart thing is that now Oscar speeches, the winners' speeches now have a lot more breathing room, which I prefer. So now
Here's the thing, right? Well, sorry to cut you. Here's the thing, right? I also made this joke on Twitter. I was saying, if you cry during your acceptance speech, you'll get more time. But if you don't cry,
right,
you'll hear that wrap it up music. So
right,
because there were some people who went in, and as he was trying to just remember names, you was hearing the wrap it up music. A couple of guys actually just gave it, just like, you know what, fuck it. Like I just can't remember, right? Let me just walk off because it's awkward. Everybody clapping. It's like, okay, I was like, oh gosh, man, just give them this a 10 seconds to remember the name before they walk out. Like, come on.
right, right.
Yeah.
No, but as I said, this was such a smart call, and I don't know if Oscars will always not have a host, but like not having a host was an excellent call. Ultimately, it ended up working out. I thought it would have been a disaster because the last time they didn't have a host, it was pretty disastrous. It was one of the worst Oscars. It was poorly managed, poorly played out. I think it was 1989. I think. Um,
Yeah, I actually saw a piece of
yeah, I
that
think so.
thing
Yeah,
involving chick who dressed like Snow White. It was terrible.
I don't,
It was
yeah,
terrible.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I remember. From what I understand, I don't remember here. It was one of the worst Oscars, one of the most least memorable Oscars. And it was because they didn't have a host that year, and that was the big shtick. So I
Yeah.
still think to get people to host. I don't really mind a host. The problem with the host is it's supposed the problem with the host is the hosts defeat the purpose of what the Oscars supposed to be in terms of being a master of ceremonies and having the shit flow properly. Because hosts end up getting in the way of their own thing they had to make a joke and they had to do a bit and they had to do this and sort of shit. No? And
Yeah.
because this was in and out in terms of the material, um, I thought that was excellent. In fact, I was kind of cracking up that they decided to put somebody at the end to say, well, this is the end, because like nobody was paying attention to it. It was Julia Roberts, I think.
Yeah. It was Julia Roberts. Yeah. She
And
closed the show.
nobody was paying attention to she. I was like, yeah,
I know,
why
right?
did you
Because
why
she's
even
like, all
bring
right, good night, everyone. Here she walk off.
to me? They should have just where when you say at the end, you announce your winner and then everybody come up and the speech done. Thank you. And when that person's speech done, that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you need to say this was the 91st, whatever it is, just move on. But whatever. I thought that was an excellent call by trimming all that fat, trim a lot of fat, and it
Yeah.
worked. The
And
very
no unnecessary musical numbers by the
uh,
host of the show,
yeah,
Hugh Jackman. Remember
yeah,
back in
bullshit.
when
Yeah,
it was 2010, the reader. I did not read the reader. I am Wolverine. Like no, none of that shit, right? But yeah, but apart from that questionable Queen performance, yeah, everything else was fine though. You know what I mean? We had the in memoriam video that was really cool.
as well.
I admit I got a chill when chill down the spine, down my neck when I saw Stanley there. You know what I mean? It was cool. But apart from that, it was just the best original song performers did their thing. Of course, it was kind of obvious that Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper with the Steely show, with the performance there. It was nice. It was nice. I really dug it. And yeah, of course they win, right? But all that aside, though, let me just get to the winners, right? And we just compare that to what we predicted, in our last episode, right? So,
Yeah,
in no particular order, best visual effects. First man, though, well deserved in my opinion. Because, like I said before, if you do visual effects, and I know the Academy loves this kind of shit, right? Where you had a kind of question, what is real, what was practical, and what was VFX. Then
yeah,
yeah, you win right there. So
yeah.
first man, well done, man, well done. Although we were rooting for Avengers Infinity War, but I believe
Right,
my runner up was first man. So props
right.
to first
I
man.
was back. I was always well, first one was a big movie, so I was kind of supporting it for a while. Though. I think,
Yeah.
but I already thought Avengers would get though.
Yeah, just because of Thanos and how they just design that character, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
just all the visualness of the movie itself. But yeah, first man, well done, man. Best film editing. This was one of the biggest upsets for me. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, John.
Yes. Big up to John Ottman, right? John Ottman, great editor. Yes.
This is bullshit.
He has collaborated with Branson over the years. Not saying that's a bad thing, but respect him. You work at the X-Men movies, all that stuff. But oh gosh, man, you could have given it to the favorite. You could have given it to Vice. You could have given it to Black Klansman. But Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah, now
What?
every
Because you transitioning from year to year to performance to performance.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
Come on.
Every year they have a bullshit. They have a bullshit choice, like a true bullshit choice. And this was the bullshit choice. Like, we'll get into the end of this, and whether or not that's a true bullshit choice. This is the true bullshit choice. This was the worst in its category. What the fuck?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Even Green Book had some decent editing, but Bohemian, man, come on.
Nah, ridiculous. Really ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, boy. Best costume design. As I predicted, Black Panther, Ruth E. Carter won. She's the first African-American woman. Well, they say black woman. I got to call her African-American woman to win in that category.
Right.
All right. And I like that, how she acknowledged that she started off with Spike Lee, you know what I mean? So, I like how she, paid respect to him there. But yeah, I was pleased by this. I was really glad that it won. Not much more I could say about that, but I know you probably agree as well.
Yeah. This was I kind of call this. Yeah, I think I called this one. I think we called this one, right?
Yeah. Best makeup and hairstyle. I mean, come on, Vice, right? Duh. Right. Ironically, though, it would be the only award that Vice won. And here's the thing, right? So, one thing I at least I could appreciate is that all the Best Picture nominees won at least one award.
Right.
At least one. So, this was the one that Vice won. So, all right. Well, it is what it is, right? But, I mean, not much competition there anyway. I got Tyler Perry to present this, and he was saying, yes, we're gonna present this live here, this paraphrasing here, best cinematography, because how all they could just have this, present this off screen or not in the show at all. I remember there was online petition saying, put this back in the show, please, because cinematography is important. Come on.
So bro. Speaking of fat to be trimmed, in my opinion, if there's anything that you should trim from the show itself, it should be all the short stuff. Right? Short film, short animated, and short documentary. That is the kind of stuff you had to trim, but not cinematography, man. Holy shit.
Cinematography, man. That shit is important. So, of course, Roma won. That was obvious. Yeah. That was obvious. It was either that or Cold War, in my opinion. But yeah, big up to Alfonso Cuarón. I mean, he just killed it, in the cinematography front, though. Not much more we could say. Best production design. I was glad that Black Panther won, but I was like, well, would yes. Yeah. Well deserved as well, though. Love the set design, all that kind of stuff, right? Best sound editing and sound mixing. Big upsets by Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right. Again.
What? Because you was able to replicate the Live Aid concert and
right.
Look at that. You're hearing the audience and you're hearing Queen singing. Right. It's like, really? First man could have won that. First man could have won both. Come on. Yeah. But because you replicate a concert, that's the reason they win. Well, that's my speculation. Is because of that Live Aid thing, and maybe a couple of transitions, I guess. But oh gosh, man, yeah. Bohemian, come on. Anything you had to weigh in on that?
I'm not surprised. It was like, oh well, it's music, so music. No, anything, people.
Come on, because it's music.
The Academy has no clue how sound editing and mixing works, so that is why they vote for that. It's like, oh, this is the show with the music, so therefore it should win. That bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. So what? So because one of the guys from Queen, I forget his name, was stomping his feet to "We Will Rock You," and then they transitioned to an audience doing the same thing, and then to the actual performance. That's all they win an Oscar. All right, okay. Moving along. Best original song, The Shallow, right? Everybody loves Shallow. I still personally think that the final song that Lady Gaga performed, I thought that was much more powerful. That one hit me in my heart. That one should have been nominated at least. But everybody loves Shallow. Shallow's nice, So can't complain with that. But I just wish that personally, as far as performances go, we could have seen a performance for all these stars. We did not get that. Why? I don't understand. We get Queen, right? But whatever.
Right.
Best original best original score, as I predicted, Black Panther
Right.
won. Shout
Right.
out to Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah.
I mean, his acceptance speech was great. It was to the point. And yeah, you collab with Ryan Coogler. Yeah, you make miracles, right? So props to Ludwig, man. I love that. Anything you want to weigh in on those? So that's it.
No, no, yeah. Again, just like yeah, I expect that to work. I mean, Ludwig, he kind of gonna become the new, what do you call him?
John
Not
John Williams.
right, right. Yeah, he's that right.
If he works on the right
With time,
projects with time, yeah, he could become a John Williams. He could become
right,
a John
exactly.
Williams.
Look like one of those who gonna get the keys to the kingdom now when it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff now. Music
I was
and
thinking
films.
more Hans Zimmer in terms of just blockbuster movies, but yeah, John Williams is a nice reference as well.
Yeah.
All right. Shorts, right? So best animated short went to Bow. I was like, all right, that weird
Right.
thing that we saw, okay,
Yeah.
it went, all right. Don't care to see it again, but whatever. Best live action short film, Skin. Haven't seen that. Best documentary short subject, period, end of sentence, which I didn't even know was on Netflix, but now that is there, actually will check it out. And just paraphrasing here, the in the acceptance speech, right? The chick who went up. I love what she say. Who would have thought a film about menstruation would have won an Oscar? To me,
Right.
that's like the highlight of that's like the quote of the night. There,
But
just that
yeah,
one line alone.
I didn't see that documentary. I should have made the effort to see it, but I'm familiar with the issue. That whole shenanigans. Because look, India is shockingly fucking backward when it comes to that stuff. Like they have active cultures trying to undermine simple things like hygiene and menstruation. And because their attitude is that, well, no, that is a luxury, not like something that every woman should like have to sort out now. I'm not surprised it won.
Yeah.
But I'll make the effort to go see it myself. Yeah.
Mind Gap had a chance, but oh gosh, man, Free Solo, just from the visuals to the story to the theme of it, yeah, it had to win. Glad that the guy who was the subject of the film actually showed up with his girlfriend, or if they I don't know if they married yet, but as a sane girlfriend for now, right? Jimmy Chin was there with his girlfriend or wife, whatever. So I was just glad to see them on stage. I wish the guy, I think his name is Andrew or Andy, whatever. I wish he could have said something, but I guess he was a little shy or whatever. But I'm real glad that Free Solo won. I really want more people to go and check this great show. Ricardo, you need to watch Free Solo. It's great. You'll love it. Best foreign language film, The Roma. Of course, it won.
Yeah.
And apparently, this is the first Mexican film to win win in that category. So that's a huge achievement for them. I love how he was bigging up Mexico. It's like not Viva Mexico, but I forgot what it is he said, but he was shouting out Mexico in his speech as well.
Yeah.
Best animated feature film, The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm very glad. I'm so glad that Disney and Pixar did not win this shit. That would have pissed me off if fucking Incredibles would win this.
Yeah, yeah, boy.
Oh,
and as much as I really enjoyed Ralph Breaks the Internet, I would have been disappointed if that one as well.
Yeah, that would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, but shouts to Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, boy, all they make it.
Yeah. It totally deserve it. I don't like this movie as much as other people do, but I still love this movie a lot. So
yeah, I just love it in terms of just the risk they took visually, but just with the animation styles and just what it did. It was just so eye-popping. Best adapted screenplay. This was a tricky one, like we said. I was rooting for If Beale Street Could Talk, but Black Klansman won by this is the first and only Oscar. Well, the first Oscar that Spike Lee ever won in his career. That's seen a lot, but the only one he won for the night, unfortunately. But when he went up, a clown. I was happy for the man. Yes.
What cracked up is Spike Lee basically cosplayed as Waluigi.
With the purple.
With the Prince stick there. Yeah, it's Prince Amar.
Nobody should have meme for that though. How come nobody made a meme of that?
Well, somebody made one with him jumping on Sam Jackson there.
That was a great moment too. What I love though is because, Spike was the one who gave Samuel Jackson's first big break, right? With Do the Right Thing, I believe it was, right? Yeah. So who would think how it comes all full circle now with him? And Brie Larson was there. Presented the award for to Spike Lee. That was great actually. His speech though, I wish I could read it out, but it was something to do with 200 years ago, and if 200 by this
400,
and
400,
yeah,
400,
400 years, and about slavery and so about his great grandmother and how he
yeah.
went to how he ended up going to Morehouse and then to NYU, and it's how he kind of put all that together. Like I wish somebody could kind of write it out so I could kind of memorize it. Like I thought it was a great idea for a speech there. Like how it is pretty much like destiny in a way. How he was able to come on that stage in that year
Yeah.
for that award. Um, but yeah, I think it is well deserved. Though I think that just Black Lives Matter was a great script. You know what I mean? Wasn't in
Yeah. Yeah.
love with the movie. Some people kind of consider it a masterpiece, which I'll get to in the end.
Nah.
But yeah, well deserved one. You know what I mean? It really is similar to Jordan Peele's win last year for best original screenplay with Get Out, right? So I guess that's the trend. If it is something that people will say, that's always a sign that you're not gonna win best director if you win in the best screenplay categories.
Right.
Speaking of best original screenplay, Green Book though. I was like, all right.
Oh
I,
boy.
I really can't say nothing for that, but
I
okay,
let's,
okay.
I'll say original screenplay because of how much bullshit fiction was in that movie. So yeah, it's original
Like
screenplay.
like the
Truly
favorite could have won. First Reform could have won, but Green Book though.
Yeah, boy. Well,
This was the first win that Green Book won for the night. So when that happened, I was like, okay, okay, then
yeah.
moving on. But anything you want to weigh in on Green Book winning that category?
As I said, it deserves original because it is truly an original screenplay, as in make up bullshit. So whatever.
For real, way. So best supported actress. This was the first category that was announced.
Yeah.
The release ceremony. Regina King, boy. If Beale Street could
Yeah,
talk,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was
No.
happy for this. Yes, we were
Huey,
both rooted for Rachel Weisz, but
Huey,
yeah, Regina
Huey.
won. Where I was happy for. I
Right.
like
No,
it.
I had Regina in my. I think I had Regina in my running as well.
Yeah, as a run up too. I love the moment where Chris Evans had to help
Right.
her get on stage. That was really nice as well, though. But I
It
really
was,
felt it for
Huey,
Regina. She was crying and stuff. She
yeah,
tagged mom and all that kind of stuff who was in the audience. Yeah, it was just a beautiful moment, though. So
yeah,
yeah, props to
Huey,
Regina King, her first Oscar win. Well done, man.
yeah, Huey and Riley Freeman.
Yeah,
Get
boy, you know what I mean? From voicing Huey and Riley Freeman to winning that. I know she won an Emmy before Golden Globe in the past, but yeah, first
right.
Oscar window. So yeah, that's great.
She was pretty damn good in season 2 of The Leftovers. For me.
Oh, she was in that too. Okay, I didn't know that.
I thought she would have get something for that. But I didn't. That girl else snubbed. That whole show, everything gets snubbed. So
Oh yeah. Oh, it never got nominated for Emmy
I
or
think I
Golden
got
Globe.
nominated, but they said all the actors won for different roles that year.
Right.
But for that show didn't get nothing. Just barely get anything. Anyway, yeah. But
Yeah.
Regina congrats. She was good.
Right. Best supported actor. Of course, Mahershala Ali for Green Book. He was the
Yeah.
best thing about the movie.
You're
Let's
right.
be
As I
real.
said, that was a real strategic move because what they do is they trade down the character. Now he could have easily been best main. He could have easily been best lead in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what they do is they trade down and give him the supporting now because to me he was above the role.
Yeah, he was
Given how
above
much,
Viggo Mortensen by far. You
right, no,
know?
but he was above the supporting actor role in my opinion. Again, it was like more like a co-lead kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
So I ain't surprised with what they do with that going on. I really wasn't surprised because it was a very strategic move they made there, getting him the supporting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't be mad because he was good at the movie. Whatever.
Yeah. Can't be mad about that neither, right? Best actress, of course, Olivia Colman for the favorite.
Yes. Yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
would think Yalitza from Roma would have won. I would have laugh. I'd be slightly shocked, of course, if Lady Gaga won. You know what I mean?
Now that was some
But
bullshit.
yeah, that would have been some bullshit. That would have laughed. But Olivia Colman, I was glad she won.
Yeah,
How
I
she was kind of like
yeah.
she alone was just shocked that she won, but she was like just bubbling, not really bubbling, but just trying to get words out. And just like how she was doing it and like laughing and trying not to cry and stuff. It was kind of cute. It was kind of cute to see on screen. Kind of awkward, but you know what I mean. She was shocked, right? So that it is what it is.
And she's just so British. Gosh.
I know, but I know. talk about, oh, my kids at home and they're probably gonna be asleep and all that kind of stuff. It's like,
That's
of course
all
she
gone.
could, of course,
Yeah.
like. But yeah, I hope that this win alone will hopefully get people to check back her previous work. Like just actually on the
Yeah,
night
sure.
itself, somebody put up a tweet. I think it was Edgar Wright or something. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't even
exactly.
know she was in Hot Fuzz though. Like really, you win Hot Fuzz?
Yeah, yeah,
What? Okay.
yeah.
So
You
yeah, I had
know,
to look back at her stuff. Best actor. All right, Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody.
right.
Can't
That's
argue with that. I can't argue with that. No, no.
right. I'm not too mad at this one.
Yeah, the acceptance speech was great actually, I like how he shouted out Queen and him doing Freddie Mercury justice as well too. That was cool.
Yeah,
It was only the following morning that I learned that he actually fell
yeah.
off stage. I wish
I
we
didn't
could
know
have
that.
seen that. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
But yeah, shouts to Rami for winning though. Really excited to see the final season of iRobot. I hope that it
yeah.
is with the wait because we could have gotten it like late last year, but we had to wait long because the man had to do the Bohemian stuff and win awards
Right.
and right. So it is what.
It's, yeah, for I understand, people just kind of vexed because you didn't really fully properly acknowledge Queen and so on so. And the way the show workers, everybody saying how the movie was more to embarrass Freddie Mercury to say, oh, you really kind of eat crow to come back to them, and it's more to big up them more than anything. Now, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, whatever. That's for the Queen, the diehard Queen fans to deliberate, right? Best director, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma.
Right. No,
Duh.
surprise.
Yeah,
No,
this was the one where
uh,
he was bigging up Mexico. I remember that now, and I love the
yeah,
fact that they got Guillermo del Toro to present the award for him. 'Cause, it's like the
right.
three amigos. Well, more or less. Well, because Inarritu wasn't there now. You know what I mean? But yeah, all of them have best director Oscars on their mantles now. So it's like cool. Yeah, we the big leagues now. You know what I mean? So yeah, props to Alfonso for winning, man.
Right.
I personally, I would have loved it if Spike Lee won, because that would have been just such a
I
big
right.
shock.
I thought it was going to do that. Like it was going to give him the thing. Like again, like the Scorsese kind of vibe I was getting from that. But
Yeah,
well,
but once again, like actually, I heard this in a YouTube video. If you win best screenplay, more chances are you're not gonna win best director. I mean, look at Jordan
right,
Peele, for example, right last year,
right.
and of course, best picture.
Yeah,
In my head, I was telling myself, like, for me, you remember, I was rooting for Roma to win, right? But
right,
or favorite as a runner-up. But I was telling myself,
right.
the Academy gonna play the politics. They'll either give it to a Stars Born, okay, is that one remake that got it right, or Green
Yeah,
Book, and then
right.
Julia Roberts come and say Green Book,
Yeah.
and I wasn't angry. It's only
No,
later
no,
on when it really hit me, but I was like, all
right.
right. It's politics. Okay.
I think
Y'all
what
y'all
happened
get the green book.
was
All right.
everybody
Okay.
was watching.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think everybody was watching. They was watching Star Bohemian Rhapsody kind of sweeping a little bit too now. So it was weird enough things. So it's like, wait, Bohemian Rhapsody could fucking win though, and people was like worried about that. And And then I was like, well, no, it's not going to win this bullshit. Same thing with Black Panther. Now. You're thinking, oh, this movie could win, but nah, they ain't gonna give it to, they can't give it to Bohemian Rhapsody. And everybody's kind of worried because Bohemian Rhapsody was winning plenty now. And then Rami
Yeah,
Malek
yeah.
win.
It won quite a lot though. I think it's
Yeah,
they
five,
won 4 or 5. I think
yeah,
Black Panther won 3 now or something like that.
right, right. And so everybody was kind of worried. And then when Green Book win, it was like a kind of sigh of relief in a sense. But Green Book, like I totally understand why it win because it's like it's the same reason why Shape of Water win. It catered to
All liberals,
racism.
as I said. Yeah.
All liberals, yeah, it was all liberal movies. As the joke is, the guy would have voted for Obama 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that is what it is. It really feel like that. It's just so I wasn't surprised at all. Once you have a movie like that in your running, do not be surprised if that shit win because it really designed and tailor made for what we think is the average Oscar voter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
But
how tone deaf it is. Doesn't matter how you know
formulaic it is.
formulaic it is. Does matter. And look, to be fair, I think like Green Book have its moments. Green Book have its moments. But for me, it was just saccharine nonsense. I could not stand within the first 20 minutes. But I get it.
Uh I feel sorry for Spike Bay because next morning I read up that Spike stormed out of the ceremony. He was pissed that it won. You
Yeah.
know, because if you remember,
Pitching.
you know, do the writing could have won Best Picture. In retrospect, it could have won. But no, you
Right.
have to give it to Driving Miss Daisy, right? A movie that everyone still remembers to this day. I don't. I remember see that show once on TCM and I just forget everything about it afterwards. Okay, it was just like, but what I would say though, just from a historical perspective, right? Back in the 80s, stuff like, you know, Driving Miss Daisy and Do the Right Thing, I understand, right? Given the, you know, racial stuff that was going on, you know, with Reaganomics and the war on drugs and all that kind of stuff, and how black people were looking at white people and vice versa, right? So I get that then. But in 2019, Jed, when you had to kind of remind people in a pro-Trump America, oh, we could all get along, man, and let me just show you the 60s scenario, you know, where, yeah,
Like
how
yeah,
hard it was for black people. It's kind of like, it
we
just feels so dated now. I mean,
yeah,
yes, there's a lot of
all
heart that went into the movie, I get that, but it just feels so dated, Jed. This is shit that they could have made back in the 80s or early 90s, but in 2019, bro, come on.
yeah, well, all the bros as this. We don't
Yeah,
talk about the view for Green
yeah,
Book.
we talked about it with our reviews of the show, right?
Right.
So I don't blame Spike at all for being angry, right? Also, I should mention also with Trump kind of speaking out against Spike there, you know, talk about, oh, you're trying to throw shade at me and look at what I do, you know, compared to other presidents. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was
Right.
like, really, Donald, really? Fuck you. Moving on. But yeah, with Green Book winning, it's only the morning afterwards where people just really started to share their disgust about it winning. Like, you know, this is one of the worst Best Picture winners and all that kind of stuff. And they were
Yeah, they
making
make
the comparison
the
to
crash.
Crash. Remember?
Right.
Remember that one movie that people still remember to this day, Crash? Everybody, people don't remember Crash. Come on, right? Yeah, but they were making the comparison with Crash. There, you know what I mean? And yes, in the speech, you know, they were saying, well, Vigo Mortensen was the one who kind of put things together. Okay, you're so passionate about the story. You know what? Props to him, right? But still, there were better movies in this category. You know what I mean? There was just so much better category, you know, nominees there. I would have been happy if Black Klansman won. That would have said so much
And
about
that a
the
real shock.
political landscape. And that would have
Yeah,
real
real shock.
ruffled feathers. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, that even on Facebook, I know a couple of people will say that, you know, Black Klansman is a masterpiece, though. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny how people kind of like looking back at the movie and saying it's one of his best works, you know, mainly because
Right.
it lost to Green Book.
I I
I
still
personally don't
I
think
still
so, but
can't.
I think that if I watch it again, I may think so, but it'll take time for me to really regard Black Klansman as a true masterpiece, in my opinion.
Right. I still in the camp that say that the writer and um Beale Street should have be there instead
Yeah,
of
they could have been nominated, man, at least for Best Director, too. For
right.
Best
Yeah, my
Director,
opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but really and truly, let's be real. Roma is the best out of all of them. Is the best made, best story, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I had I made a joke while I also tweeted this as well. You know, I wish one of the producers of Green Book would have said, "No, wait, actually, Roma, you won." You know what I mean? That would have been
Yeah.
funny. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
hey, Green Book won. People will be salty about this all week, but you know, I just like Driver Miss Daisy. I imagine next few years or so, people will forget this movie. People will
Yeah.
forget this movie even exists. Right? People are like, yeah, in terms of best picture winners, yeah, this is what it was. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It has happened before. Look at shit like Ordinary People. Like anybody remember that shit? People remember
Yeah.
Raging Bull. That could have won. But Ordinary People won, right? So whatever. So yeah, it is what it is. Just but Green Book win. That's all I had to say. I just kind of sighed at it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't
Yeah.
too disappointed, but I kind of knew that they would have played safe there. I think that's the last thing I'll say. I think this was the safest bet to make now. Everything else, especially like if Vice won, for example, yeah, people would have speak out against it. But you know, let's give it to the saccharine sweet Green Book. You know, which shows that African Americans and Italian Americans can get along, right? Yay! Any last words you want to say about the awards in general? You know, the
Yeah.
appointments and
Nothing was
whatnot.
again. Nothing was too surprising. Again, the only thing that genuinely pissed me off was the editing thing. That was it.
Yeah, boy,
Uh,
Bohemian Rhapsody, Dread.
yeah, that was it. But everything
I
else,
don't know if I should watch over that movie and really study it and ask myself, How does he win Best Editing, Dread?
Yeah, that foolishness. Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't really talk about that. Again, nothing was that surprising. All the little shitty things happen. All the good things happen. It played itself out. Whatever, small thing. Um, Again, I hated Green Book myself, but that's about it. I expected it, so it's like I'll leave it there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Oscars. It's tailor made for the Oscars. So I
Exactly.
guess it was kind of obvious it would have won. It would have won,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
whatever.
that's no surprises there. Whatever. I wanted movies like First Reformed and the Rider get more recognition. I think that was about it. It just Rider was so well done in my opinion, and
Yeah, totally agree.
and
But last thing I'll
yeah,
say though is that I am glad that if Beale Street could talk at least won an award. You know what I mean? So
right.
props to that. But yeah, like I said before, all the Best Picture nominees won something. Even though Vice win something, won Best Makeup and Hairstyling, but it is well deserved, right? Even though it's a category that I really don't give a shit about, but it is what it is, right?
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
I hope everybody happy. I know Spike Lee take it hard, but
Yeah.
dog, I guess in retrospect, people will regard your film as a masterpiece. But hey, Green Book win, so let's move on
Right.
with life, right?
Yeah.
All right. So with all that being said, Ricardo, where can we find you online?
I'm Passat RMEDDY on Twitter. That is at RMED on Twitter, and then type in Ricardo Medina on Facebook. You'll find me there.
All right. You can also find me on Twitter as well. Just look for Legally Black MJB. MJB, capital letters. You could also find me on Facebook. Just look for my name, Machibili, along with the Legally Black blog, official fan base, where you find a link to this podcast as well as the other stuff we've done over the past few years, including retrospect reviews. Stuff to look forward to. And this will be after Carnival, which will be the weekend anytime this recording here. Captain Marvel. We're getting this Ash Wednesday. I will not be
Yeah.
watching this Ash Wednesday. I'll probably go watch it the following Saturday. And then you can expect a review of that.
Right.
The Umbrella Academy. I did not get around to watching that because of True Detective. So I made the effort
Yes.
to check that out.
The Umbrella Academy could hopefully set an interesting precedent for Netflix. Because since the early Marvel stuff now is off, they could start doing more like alternative comics now. In my opinion, they could do
Yeah.
more alternative graphic novels and comics, especially image comics. They have a ton of great image comics to do that they could
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Agree.
And no stories that nobody ever hear about, and you could just do. So you don't
Yeah.
need to have Marvel brand necessarily. And Netflix could pivot and make this work.
Yeah. This last thing's last. So we didn't mention Jessica Jones, the last season coming out this year, and that will be it. No renewal for The Punisher. I
Right.
mean, it was a long time coming. Like we saw this, it was gonna happen. It's kind of funny that Eminem would speak out against Netflix canceling The Punisher. But yeah, it just seems like just Netflix just don't know what to do with these shows. So it's just like
Right.
whatever, we cancel it, right? We had a great season of the end of the last year, but sorry, that's not enough. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Just so yeah, that's pretty much about it. So once again, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This was Match Young,
Ricardo Medina.
and we are signing off from another episode of Bears Beats and Bailey. So until the next one, take care. Peace.